Hi, I'm Christine, your pediatric feeding expert, and I'm here to talk about tummy time toys to put on your registry. And you might not be thinking tummy time and feeding are related, but they very much are. And tummy time is actually very beneficial, important, and helpful to getting baby to eat successfully. So even just some of the benefits we'll review before I get into the registry items that I would recommend. But tummy time itself is going to help build baby's core strength, postural strength. Okay. You need this to be sitting up, right? Because one of the first signs of readiness that babies are ready to eat is, well, one, it's around 6 months, but it's also that they have proper head control. They have some trunk stability. They're able to, move their neck, their shoulders comfortably. They're not falling over. They're not droopy. And that all comes with strength from doing things like tummy time. Tummy time also promotes oral motor development. It encourages rooting, mouthing, oral exploration, especially as they start to be like pushing up on their own. It also helps reduce things like torticollis and flattened head or plagiocephaly. It helps with so many things. But even beyond that, it helps with a very specific nerve called the vagus nerve. Now, this nerve, it's a cranial nerve 10. It is the longest cranial nerve in the body, and it plays a very key role in regulating your digestion, your heart rate, and your parasympathetic nervous system. So that is responsible for things like swallowing, digestion, gut function. Okay, so it's a super important nerve. And tummy time can help with this specific nerve as it develops, right? So it activates it. Tummy time positions can stimulate the vagus nerve, through the pressure in the diaphragm and the chest as baby is bearing weight. It supports their common alert states, helping babies to self-regulate, transitioning between rest, feeding, being active. Okay, and there's a very serious gut-brain connection that happens through this vagus nerve. Regular vagus nerve activation improves gut motility, so better digestion, right? Critical in babies with reflux and feeding challenges. So this nerve also helps babies recognize when they're full and hungry, gets that feeding rhythm going, and reduces, a lot of feeding behaviors that we tend to see. So now that you know more about why it's so important to do tummy time to help with feeding, let's talk about some of my favorite products that help enhance and help with tummy time, because you might notice that not every baby loves tummy time. And a lot of times that is because there is a lot of muscle tension in their body. So if they are really struggling with that, there's some ways that you can help make tummy time a little bit more delightful for them. Also, I always recommend seeing someone like a chiropractor to help with the tension in the body and making sure the body is balanced. A lot of people think chiropractors only do the cracking, and they're like, no, my baby's too little. That's not what a baby chiropractor does. It's very, very gentle, and they just sort of release the tension because they know exactly where to press, when, for how long, and how much pressure to put. So a chiropractor that specifically works with infants can really be helpful if your baby is struggling with things like reflux and issues with tummy time. Okay, so let's get started. So let me just share my screen really fast. Okay, so we want to keep baby engaged, happy, and sometimes distracted, especially if they hate tummy time. So things like the mirror that folds, that could be, right on the floor with them as they're doing tummy time here, as you can see. We know that babies really thrive with the black and white, that high contrast. So something like this book is perfect because it has the mirror, it has the black and white contrast. It will keep them engaged while they're sitting and doing their tummy time. Okay, so this is a great one to put on your registry. All right, the other one is the Tummy Time Wedge. So the Tum Tum is an awesome product that's made specifically by a physical therapist to help babies successfully do tummy time. So if your baby is really struggling with tummy time, this is an awesome product to have on hand. Babies do really well, and even the babies that tend to not love tummy time do really well on this wedge. So it's a great way to start. So this is the Tum Tum. So I'd recommend that as well. And then there's some toys that are going to keep their attention because, right, tummy time is hard work. They're strengthening their muscles. There's that nerve activation. So there's a lot going on in their body during tummy time. So we want to keep them engaged and sort of not thinking about all that hard work that they're doing. So something like this, where they are playing, there's the things that move, and there's water. Babies tend to really love this, and it does tend to keep them in tummy time for a good amount of time because they're very so. Let's see if my computer cooperates, but let's see. The Hape Penguin. Okay, the penguin. So he's so cute. He makes some noise, I believe. You know, it's great. He rolls around. So as baby swipes, he just sort of moves. I find it keeps him in tummy time, and it helps promote crawling. So when baby's ready, this is a really great toy, and it makes music. So they might want to, you know, go and find, you know, the source of that music. It's one of those really like key awesome toys to just have. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's perfect. We also really like things like this, right? Like a colorful spinning wheel. Babies tend to do really well with things like this. You know, it keeps them, again, you can see babies in tummy time and they're just sort of reaching for it, making it spin, looking at all the colors, and it keeps them really engaged. Okay, so those are good tummy time toys that I would say are great to keep them engaged. So let's just say you're using the Tummy Time Wedge here, babies on, you know, on their wedge, and, you know, you might have, you know, in front of them something like this that they can kind of keep their interest in. Or maybe they're just on, you know, the mat, just like this baby, and they're just engaged in looking at themselves, looking at the pictures, and they're in tummy time, but they're having fun. So they're not complaining as much. Okay. So if you're going to put some baby toys on your registry, these are some great ones to put on. And now you know exactly why and what to do with them. So enjoy and put these on your registry.